Happy Saturday, Shabbat Shalom, Fleece Sabbath to all my brothers and sisters out there in the struggle. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He allowed us to wake up and see another day with his precious breath of life. Today's lesson is called Babylon. Plain and simple, Babylon, because this is talking about, I'm going to show you about physical Babylon in the past and the present and the future, and spiritual Babylon. And if you got your Bibles, open up your Bibles to Genesis chapter 6. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. Genesis 6, beginning with verse 5. Verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Ain't nothing changed, right? We are back to beyond the days of Noah today. Because thoughts of people's hearts are evil, wicked continually. Verse 6, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. What? So what happened? The Lord saved Noah and his family, Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their 3 wives, and as well as remnants of all the animals that he created. So they would survive the flood, 8 souls. So the Lord is merciful and gracious. Verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God. Whoa. He walked with God, which means what? He did what God said. He kept his commandments. Right? Verse 10. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, now, go over to Genesis chapter 10. Genesis 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Skip to verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. Now skip to verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. We've all heard of Nimrod, right? He said he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Now, show you, okay. He said Nimrod was a mighty hunter. Okay. Now go to Genesis 11. Genesis chapter 11. Now remember, this is after the flood. Verse 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to and let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. So they probably built that Tower of Babel to reach up unto heaven, because they were scared that the Lord would bring upon them another flood. They thought that they could build something that would keep them from the Lord's wrath, right? But we know the Lord is all powerful. He can do anything. So let me show you something about this Nimrod character. This is the 2 Babylons. This is called the 2 Babylons, or the papal worship, proved to be the worship of Nimrod and his wife. All right? This is 2 Babylon, page 13. It says, now to establish the identity between the systems of ancient Babylon and papal Rome, we have just to inquire in how far does the system of the papacy, that's the Pope in them, agree with the system established in these Babylonian mysteries. Now I'm going to go to page 14. It says, and here I have to notice first the identity of the objects of worship in Babylon and Rome. Okay. I'm going to go to page 19. Just to show you something. Because we know in the papacy, in the Roman Catholic doctrine, they worship Mary, right? They worship Mary, the mother of Jesus, as a goddess, right? They call her the Queen of Heaven. But we all know that Rome gets its doctrine from all the paganism from other ancient cultures like Greece and Babylon. And this is a picture of, in ancient Babylon, a pagan statue holding a little baby. Then you got the same thing from India. You can find the same thing in ancient Egypt, which the papacy gets a lot of this paganism from. You can find the same thing in all different ancient cultures. Because I'm going to read it to you later, that the Roman Catholic Church mingled in paganism. All right? So, we see that's where the mother worship comes from. Let me show you something else. Another history book. This is Rowe's book of Bible charts, maps, and timelines. Page 200. It says, hold up. It says denominations comparison. It's got Catholic Church, then it's got Orthodox Church, Lutheran, Anglican, etc., etc. It says other beliefs and practices of the Catholic Church. Mary was conceived by her mother immaculately, free of original sin. What? This is what they say. She remained a virgin perpetually. Whoa! So you mean after she had Jesus, and after she had Jesus' brothers and sisters, she kept on being a virgin? Hypocrisy! That don't make no sense. How you gonna do that? But this is what they tell you. This is what they believe. She is the mother of the church and is considered an object of devotion and veneration, which means what? Idolatry, paganism. A show of honor that stops short of worship. So, just want to show you that. Turn to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians 2, beginning with verse 7. Verse 7 says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And who is he talking about? The son of perdition, the man of sin, the abomination of desolation. Verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Who is he working for? Satan the devil. Plain and simple. This is a man. And I'm going to show you some intricacies about this man. But go back to another history book. Last 2 million years. Page 218. And it's talking about the vicar of Christ. And you know what that means? That means substitute for the Son of God on earth. Okay? Okay, page 218, last 2 million years. The test of strength between emperor and pope ended when Henry IV found his German vassal siding with the pope and realized that he was beaten. As the Pope travels to Augsburg in Germany to confer with Henry's rebels, Henry hurried south to meet Gregory at Canossa in Tuscany. Gregory forced him to stand barefoot in the snow before his castle gates for 3 days. What? Now that's some power, ain't it? You gonna make a man stand barefoot in the snow in front of your castle? Man, that's some power and authority, ain't it? Now I'm gonna skip down. It says it says he was a patron of two monastic orders, the Franciscans and Dominicans, and he was the first to use the title Vicar of Christ, which means what? Substitute for the Son of God on earth. It says no king can reign rightly unless he devoutly serves Christ's vicar. Ain't that something? It said no king can reign properly unless he serves the Pope. Ain't that something, man? Man, I can read you something about Pope Pius X, I believe. He said that if the Pope is Christ on earth. Ain't that something? This is being puffed up in the head. But who they get their influence from? Satan the devil. Right? Let's read you a little something about Satan the devil. You got to know your enemy. Turn to Isaiah 14. Isaiah chapter 14. What was Satan's name in the beginning? Lucifer, right? I'm going to read a little bit about Lucifer. Isaiah 14, beginning with verse 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down from the ground to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. What? Who wants to go to heaven? Satan the devil. Got everybody on this planet, well, the majority of people on this planet, wanting to do the same thing. And that's what? Go to heaven. But we know God's kingdom is going to be down here on this earth, right? But he's a deceiver, and he got a whole bunch of people deceived. He said, let me read that again. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. What? This is Satan the devil. This is his mindset. He wants to be like God. He wants to be worshipped. Now I'm showing you examples of that in the New Testament as well. But first, turn to Revelation 17. Revelation 17. Wait a minute. No, before we go there, I'm going to show you in the New Testament now. It's Luke chapter 4. Luke chapter 4. And this is when Jesus was here on earth and he was tempted while he was in the flesh. Because see, Satan want to come at you when you're at your weakest points. Right? Luke chapter 4. Luke 4 and beginning with verse 5. And the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Verse 6. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee. Wait a minute. He offered Jesus all this power? Okay, pay attention to that. He said, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine. See? He even tempted Jesus, he wanted Jesus to worship him. Ain't that something? And he knew who Jesus was. He said, all this power I give you if you bow down and worship me. Satan wants to be worshipped. Didn't I just read you in Isaiah? I will be like the Most High God. I will be worshipped. And Jesus, he didn't say, get out of here, Satan, you lying. No, he knows that Satan has this world for a set time. He knows he is the prince of the power of the air, the prince of this world. He is ruled. And he influences man all the time. And that's why this lesson is called Babylon. Because let's go to Revelation 17. Because a lot of my brothers say, oh, America's Babylon. I'm going to show you something right now. Revelation 17. Beginning with verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Whoa, they was drunk. They weren't drunk with no physical liquor. They was drunk with false doctrine. And we got a lot of that going on in the world today, right? Verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Verse 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Abominations of America? No. Abominations of the whole earth, the whole wide world. Say, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Don't they call themselves the mother church? Just keep that in mind. Let me see now. Okay, bear with me. The mother of harlots. Now, let's go to, got something else for you. This is Harper's Bible Dictionary, because in the same chapter, wait. Got my, pardon me, I got my notes written in highlights, so it's like hard to see instead of regular ink. Revelation 17. Let's see. Revelation 17. Oh, Revelation 17 is the key, because it shows us where this great mystery Babylon the Great sits. It shows the location. So I'm going to skip down to verse 9. It says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. 7 heads are 7 mountains. Okay. You can find this in any history book. But this is an old ancient history book. This is Harper's Bible Dictionary, and it shows you the location. It says the 7 hills of Rome. You might not be able to see that. The 7 hills of Rome. Okay? Now, just common sense thinking. Where is it on this planet that you got a whole entire religious doctrine sitting on 7 hills or 7 mountains, and nobody else is in competition with them over there? Rome. Roman Catholic Church. All right? So that's just a big clue we have to pay attention to. Now, Jonathan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 509. The same thing. The same thing. There go. Rome. The 7 hills of Rome. All right. Did you see that? Okay. I'm going to read this little highlighted section. It says, Rome, like Babylon, became a symbol of organized paganism and opposition to Christianity in the Bible. That's right. Because you got 2 types of Christianity out there. You got Bible Christianity and you got Roman Christianity. 2 totally different things. You got Bible Christians and you got Roman Christians, right? Because didn't Jesus go into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for it to read? But Roman Christians do what? Sunday. Two totally different things. Plain and simple. All right? Says, like Babylon, Rome became a symbol of organized paganism and opposition to Christianity. Why is that? Because he influenced by Satan the devil. Right? Go to Daniel 7. Daniel chapter 7. Old Testament. Prophecy, a more sure word prophecy. Daniel 7, beginning with verse 1. So we already seen the location of Babylon, right? And that's spiritual Babylon, because it's given a lot of people a lot of different false doctrine that's not written in this Bible. Daniel 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And sea means people. Verse 3. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. That's Babylon. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given unto it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. That's the Medo-Persian Empire. And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which is the Greek Empire, with Alexander the Great and his 4 generals, which upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible. And this is represented by Rome, the Roman Empire. Because what came up after the Greek Empire? The Roman Empire. All 4 of them Gentile dynasties, but the last one was Rome. All right? It says, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Oh, another little horn. A lot of my brothers say this little horn in Daniel 7 is America. But I'm trying to tell you. Matter of fact, I tell you the truth. This little horn is all over the whole wide world. Go to a deep, dark circle in Africa. And what you're going to see? A pagan cross. Which is where they set their mark. Because in the future days, you're going to have to take a literal mark. You're going to have to make a choice whether you're going to serve God or serve Satan the devil. It's just that simple. What happens every year on Ash Wednesday? They put that dot on your forehead. They mark you to show your allegiance to the Roman Catholic Church. But who are they influenced by? Who are they working for? They ain't working for Jesus. They ain't abiding by the scriptures. They're not keeping the commandments. They say you can do whatever you want and still make it into God's kingdom. But however, we know better, right? So let me finish verse 8. It says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and the mouth speaking great things. And what are those great things? Blasphemy against God. We're going to touch on that. Daniel chapter 2. Daniel 2. Daniel 2 and verse 31. This is when Nebuchadnezzar had another dream that Daniel had to interpret. Verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold. Okay. Bring me to another history book to show you just a little illustration of it. It says the statue in Babel in the book of Daniel. Said the image head was fine gold, right? Said the image head was fine gold. His breast and his arms are silver. You see that, right? Right. His belly and his thighs are brass. You see that? His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Okay, you see that? Right? Which means what? They mingle together, but they're not totally one unit, which points to spiritual Babylon in the future. Because, like I said before, you have 27 countries in this European economic community, the European Union. In the future days, it will drop down to 10, because when we read further in Daniel, it says a stone gonna smack this image on the feet, on the toes. If you want to destroy or kill somebody, you don't smack them on the toes. You smack them on the head, right? But that is symbolic to show you that it's the end of this Gentile dynasty. So it's going to smack them on the toes, because it's going. They want a one world economy. They want a one world religion, a one world economy, and everything. Right? Like this right here, for example. You know what this is? Vatican euros. He just waiting to put his money above all. Okay? Because when these powers, when these European unions drop down to 10, they're going to give their power to him. And he's going to have control of the economy. Everybody going to be using the euro. And you can't buy or sell unless you have his mark. Plain and simple. Right? Now, okay, where am I? Let's go to Matthew 24. Matthew chapter 24. Verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, that's what we just read, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Well, we just read the four beasts or the four winds of heaven, which is the Gentile dynasty. But we read that little horn is going to come up out of that in the future days. And that's going to be the abomination of desolation, which is none other than the Papa. Matter of fact, didn't Jesus say, call on man your spiritual father on earth? But that's his title. Pope, that's what Pope means, Papa. Right? Okay. Skip to verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be. So, great tribulation. Let's go to Daniel 12. Just to reiterate the same thing that Jesus just said in the New Testament. Daniel chapter 12, last chapter of Daniel. Verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. What is that? The Lord's book of life. Because if you cannot wait to the last minute. You got to start walking this thing now. Because when you pay attention to what's going on in the world, according to prophecy, you know that the end is near. And it's just a matter of time. Now, Revelation 17. Revelation 17 and verse 5 again. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Uh-oh. Got a lot of people call themselves saints. But when we read further in Revelation, saints get their heads cut off. Don't they got a bunch of guillotines in the world? Ready to use them like they did in the old days? Don't they got a bunch of plastic coffins ready to be used? You know what I'm saying? Saints get their heads cut off. And one main reason why saints won't get their heads cut off, because they say that what Jesus said in Matthew 24 is a fleeing doctrine. When the Lord say, you better flee, you flee. Otherwise, you're going to get killed. I mean, it's just that simple. Matter of fact, I ain't got time, but I'm going to read it anyway. Matthew 24 again. Back to verse 15. It says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, because we know they're going to build that third temple, right? Whoso readeth, let him understand. Verse 16, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Whoa, we got a lot of brothers and sisters over there now. They went over there too early. And they got all kind of calamity going on with them. Do you know that the main people that's over there fighting them Palestinians don't want no black folks over there, period? They are, man, and they want to say anti-Semitic. But you prejudiced, you racist. You don't want no black folks over there. And then you see how they lump us all together. They call them Africans. But I know there's some philosophers over there. They're not Africans. Matter of fact, y'all scientists determined that they were true Israel. Ain't that something? But you want to lump them all together and say, all Africans get out. See the hypocrisies of the world? See, I'm going to give you another example of why the whole world is Mystery Babylon the Great, and not just in America. God says, when you do some work for somebody, after that work is done, they pay you then. What does the world do? You will do some work for somebody in the world, and they hold on to your money, and then tax it, and you get it later. Hypocrisy. The wickedness of the world. Wouldn't you rather work for somebody and get paid the same day? Like God said, instead of what the world do? Satan is the God of this world. And he's in rulership right now. So be aware of that. Be aware of all the negative things going on in the world. It is because of Satan the devil. Believe it. And he's so sneaky and subtle. Okay. I ain't going to hold you long. Mysteries of the Bible. This is Mysteries of the Bible, page 246. Because I want to show you something. It says, this is talking about Ishtar. or Astarte. It says strange gods, Astarte and Ishtar. Major theme recurring throughout the Old Testament, and especially in the prophets, is the admonition and punishment of the Israelites for worshiping false gods. The Ten Commandments warn against this, saying, I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a graven image. Exodus 20, verses 2 through 4. Scholars believe that the Canaanite Astarte is identical to the ancient Assyrian and Babylonian goddess Ishtar. You know what another name for Ishtar is? Easter. Who is big on Easter? The Roman Catholics. That's what they gave. Matter of fact, I'm going to read that to you in another history book. Now I'm going to skip down. Oh, it says, in ancient texts and art, Astarte and Ishtar are identified and have as their symbols the planet Venus. Ishtar is known from various Babylonian and Assyrian texts, inscriptions, hymns, and artifacts. Like Astarte, she was worshipped as the goddess of fertility. But you can see another picture of a statue with her with a whole bunch of breasts, a whole bunch of titties. That's Ishtar, Astarte. All right. Now, last too many years. Last too many years. This is last too many years history book. And this is Pagan Rites Absorbed. Page 216. It says, by a stroke of tactical genius, the church, with a capital C, that's the Roman Catholic Church, it says, while intolerant of pagan beliefs, was able to harness the powerful emotions generated by pagan worship. Often, what? Pagan worship. Read it to you earlier. It says, often churches were cited where temples had stood before, and many heathen festivals were added to the Christian calendar. Easter, for instance, whoa, check. Easter, Ishtar, Astarte, Asherah, etc., etc., etc. Easter, for instance, a time of sacrifice and rebirth in the Christian year, takes its name from the Norse goddess Eostre, in whose honor rites were held every spring. She, in turn, was simply a northern version of the Phoenician earth mother, Astarte, goddess of fertility. See, everybody knows that they mingled paganism into their religion. And everybody should know that they are influenced by Satan the devil. You know? Like earlier I read about Nimrod and the Tower of Babel. Okay. This is a picture of the United Nations building in New York. You know, the United Nations is supposed to be an international government for world peace. Let me show you something. Here's the EU Parliament, and here's a picture of the Tower of Babel. Don't they look alike? If they are doing their job, why you got world wars in different parts of the world all over the planet? Jesus warned us there'd be wars and rumors of wars. Somebody ain't doing their job. If they supposed to be for world peace, right? I mean, just think about it. Just common sense. Something ain't right going on in the world, especially in the spirit realm. You got to be mindful of things. Second coming of Babylon. This is second coming of Babylon. This is page 118. It says the Bible explicitly links the final world ruler to the ancient city of Babylon. According to God's word, Satan's city will rise again to be ruled over by one man, one last time. Who is that man? The vicar of Christ. influenced by Satan the devil, right? It says the book of Revelation pictures Antichrist as the ruler of the whole world. Antichrist, just America? He said the whole world. It said Antichrist is the king of Babylon. It says Babylon and the beast. In Revelation, the great city of Babylon and the Antichrist are closely associated with one another. This connection first becomes clear in Revelation 14, verses 8 through 10. I'm going to read that. In these verses, the doom of Babylon entails the doom of those who worship the beast or Antichrist. All right. So let's read that. Revelation 14. Revelation 14, verses 8 through 10. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations, just people in America? No, it says she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Clear. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same will drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Lake of fire. Plain and simple. Okay. Matthew 22. Matthew 22 and one more after this. Matthew chapter 22. What did that say? Verse 35. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. Verse 38, this is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. If thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, The son of David. He saith unto them, How then doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool. This is Jesus quoting Psalms 110. It says, If David then call him Lord, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word, neither durst any man from that day forth ask him any more questions, because they didn't know who they was playing with. they was dealing with the Most High God, the Son of the Most High God in the flesh, with all great power and wisdom and glory.